Welcome everyone to the latest iteration of Alan Hinton Unleashed. Alan, I think you had something interesting that happened last week at the Dynamos match. You want to share that with our fans?
Yeah, what happened is it's the 40th anniversary of the start of the Sounders, which began in a glorious manner in 1974. The 95 team won the A-League with 8 local Seattle players. I was the coach. We won the A-League and we were the best team in America because that was the only league going at the time. And then we were all on the field of play, having a good time. The fans behind the goal, the great Emerald City Supporters Club, started chanting for my name. So I went to talk to them, and then I saw the guy on the ladder, on the steps, who leads the singing for the huge choir there. And I went up and I said, the reason we're doing so well in Seattle is because of you guys. And I said, can I sing you a song? So I started singing, we got the best team in the land, and they all sang together. So that's a first. An international player, a former coach, leading the choir with the great song, we got the best team in the land. Of course, I went through the whole deal with Dempsey and Obafemi Martins, and they were fantastic. That was a wonderful thrill. I couldn't sleep when I got home. I was so excited.
That sounds great, Alan. The move of DeAndre Yedlin moving over to Tottenham, getting that deal finally done. What are your thoughts on that, Alan?
Well, I've been chanting for a long time for all the players that's playing in Europe, the US players, to come back. But in this case, this is a fantastic move for everybody. This is a young kid who's played 45 games in Major League Soccer. He's been one of the poster boys, if you like, for the national team and at the World Cup. He was at the All-Star game. He's a local kid from Seattle and been raised by his grandparents, and that's another thrill, seeing them so happy. He's signed for Tottenham. But the Sounders have really hit the jackpot by keeping him here till the end of the season. But it's a great move for him. And is he going to make it? I think he's got a shot, but we'll see when he gets to Tottenham, and they paid a lot of money, reputedly $4 million. So everybody's won here, including the Sounders, which is a great credit for the homegrown system, the academies, not just here but everywhere. And it looks a great deal all the way around. Here's what the deal is. Yedlin is now the property of Tottenham, because the Sounders wouldn't risk him getting injured with a $4 million. And according to reports, the $4 million will be handed over at the end of August, which is good for all. Then at the end of the US season, Tottenham could well say he's improving dramatically at Tottenham, leave him there for another year. We don't need him right now, but they may say that. And that's part of the option and the loan system. But at the end of the day, the next test for Yedlin will be to go to Tottenham, work hopefully on a daily basis with the first team, get the advice and the good play from the players that he'll be playing with. They have a good international coach there now, and it's a great opportunity for him. But in the end, he needs to get amongst those Tottenham players, see if he can get an opportunity in the English Premier League, see how he does. They'll put him through the ringer in the locker room when he first gets there. I mean, he's a very confident, very well-managed young kid. They'll test him out. I mean, they'll be taking a mickey out of him, maybe mimicking his American accent, but he'll pass that because he's got a great personality. I think he's learned to laugh at himself at times, which the English like, and of course the foreign players over there, and there's many there. But then he'll go on the field of play, and then he's got to establish himself as a good player. They'll be thrilled with his early speed. I mean, his first 7-8 yards of speed, 10 yards, he's like greased lightning. I mean, he's so fast. But can he make it over there? I think he's got a shot. Tottenham and other clubs that have brought young Americans over, they haven't all worked out, but this is a fantastic deal for a very, very fine young man, and a great credit to the homegrown system.
So staying on the topic of the English Premier League, the season's kicking off this weekend. Is it going to be the big clubs again, Man U, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool? Is it going to be one of those?
I think right now it's going to be a toss-up between Chelsea and Manchester City. Chelsea signed a player who's a pistol called Costa. He's a genuine striker that will banging people around. I'm sure he'll get a few cards this year. And Chelsea, for me, haven't had a great striker in the last few years. But in the end, Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool could and should have won the league last year but failed at the last minute. they'll be thereabouts, but they have lost Suarez, who quite rightly should have been kicked out of the English Premier League for biting players. You don't bite players, but he's a great talent, and they'll struggle to replace him. Tottenham will be 5th or 6th. Manchester United is the big talking point because Louis van Gaal has been trying to sign everybody. There's still some days to go before the window is closed. I think it closes at the end of August. So Manchester United could sign 2 or 3 players. They're rumoured every day to be signing this player, but they haven't signed many top players yet. I'm shocked that Van Gaal hasn't got half of the Dutch national team with him, because he spent 4 or 5 weeks with them. And what a great opportunity to tamper with them and say, you're coming with me, and ask for a transfer and all that kind of stuff. But I just feel Manchester United is an unknown quantity right now. But I do think it's going to be very competitive. Arsenal played super against Manchester City in the Community Shield last week. I was very impressed with them. I've always liked Arsene Wenger, even though he hasn't won that many trophies, but he plays beautiful soccer.
Your thoughts on Everton?
Well, Roberto Martinez, the manager, I wasn't sure about him when he failed to motivate Wigan at times when he was there, but he plays very good football. He has a great soccer brain. Tim Howard, who I'm hoping gets half of Klinsmann's checks for keeping Klinsmann in his job, because he clearly did by his outrageous performances in goal for the US national team. Tim Howard's on top of his game, and if he doesn't make it as a goalkeeper, he's a great pundit as well, an analyst. I've heard him, he's good. But the big deal is that Everton, you know, they've got a very, very solid team. They seem a happy club. It is a big club, you know, and I think the closeness between Everton and Liverpool will spur Everton on and on and on. But they play good football, and they'll be up there. I would call them a decent outsider.
Alan, the last topic I wanted to ask you about is Chad Marshall. He came to the club this past year. The Sounders had a couple of bad games where they were shut out. He comes back against the Dynamo. Lo and behold, they score, they win. How important is he to the team, and can a central defender be that important to a club?
Well, if you're 6'5" like Chad Marshall is, and don't forget the secret here was Ziggy Smith had coached him at Columbus, so Ziggy knew what Chad was all about. Chad was pretty much of a character when he was at Columbus. Ziggy knew what his style was. He knew what his potential was. It's not very often you get a guy 6'5" who clearly wins everything in the air, gets a goal, saves a goal, but he's very, very good with his feet, and he's got a little bit of speed as well. So he's got all the makings of being, well, he is a top central defender. I would think right now he's if he can keep playing well and stay clear of injury. He did get injured a couple of weeks ago when he got rear-ended in a car accident, which was too bad for him and for the Sounders. But he'd be the #1 candidate for Defender of the Year right now, and he's a very, very impressive player, and he's a very impressive young man as well.